So right here I'm at my front door. I have a hanging basket that used to be flowers, but a little wren built her nest in there, and so I stopped watering it. So the wren's eggs are growing and the flowers are dead. And I have a few other flowers along the front here to add beauty as well as production to this place, which makes it a lot more enjoyable for me. PG hydrangea, some anise hyssop, and coneflower, echinacea, for the beneficial insects and pollinators. And in the middle of all that, barely sticking out, is a crabapple that was planted last year. And you can see there's a few crab apples on it, which I think is somewhat impressive for the first year. Heading towards the front gate, there is a pear tree, which I just recently gave a severe pruning to in an effort to shape it up and hopefully fruit next year. And a beautiful New Dawn rose, which I adore. There's a sour cherry tree, which the birds just finished picking all the fruit off of, and a quince tree, which hopefully next year also will fruit. Then over here I have my little elderberry grove with 5 elderberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th one behind that. And watching the whole procedure are the geese right there, who pretty much act as the thugs of the farm. Last year also I put in 2 hazelnuts, filberts. We'll see how that goes. And over there is a semi-dwarf peach, which I'm going to try to prune down to a reasonable size. A clematis which needs tying up, and several lilacs bordering the woodshop / workshop. Been out into what I call the old garden, which is where my father gardened for years. And on the way there this year, we installed a new herb garden. Raised beds, weed block, trying to reduce the amount of work that goes into it and keeping it close to the front door so I can keep track of it better. And the posts you see and the wires which may or may not show up are for trellising Asian pears, dwarf Asian pears. And I hope to trellis them as an espalier. Now on into the garden area, the old garden. Out here will eventually become my pawpaw orchard. Here's the biggest one, which is as of yet unfruitful, but again, hope for next year. There's a total of 12 pawpaws, a couple of which I've had to replant a couple of times. I may give up on those varieties and just put in more of either this one or this one right here, which is fruitful. And in between all the pawpaws, there should be 4 in a row of 3 rows. I have my beds of mint. There's spearmint and peppermint, and then the 3rd row is lemon balm, chamomile, and way down at the end is horehound. And then in between are planting beds. So I guess you could call it silvo planting. I don't know what the term would be. There's chard, and next to it is going to be another row of zephyr summer squash. There's a baby pawpaw. Hot peppers, Hungarian peppers, eggplants, and at the other end of there are sweet peppers. There's the lemon balm and its row of pawpaws, and then 2 rows of trellised tomatoes. The first one being Costoludo Genovese, and perhaps you can see it's a fluted tomato. And then the second row being Amish paste. And then I'm trying a new thing this year with summer greens, and let's see if it works or not, but I'm planting some lettuce for salad mix on white landscape plastic. And then these two beds, these two rows, will be a mixture of other greens that will either go into the salad mix or be available separately, such as spinach and arugula, I hope. And up here is just a mix of materials for usage when we need them. So on down here, I have a tote. I keep wanting to do something with it, and I keep not. So someday, I'll get the time and energy to figure out exactly what plan I want to follow with that. But at this end of the old garden, I've got pole beans, and I have them trellised on cattle panel, and they are Roma, the flat potted Italian bean. The second planting was just put in at the other end. You can see some bare dirt up there. And then a row of Zephyr summer squash. That is the green and yellow squash that I offer at market, and along with the squash blossoms come from this plant. Over here, I have some yellow gooseberries, which aren't thriving yet, but I'm hoping as soon as I get this irrigation line attached and put in and working and functional, they will improve their vigor. At least that's the hope. And then a short row here of blueberries, which are in desperate need of weeding, but there are blueberries on a few of them. And in this one I did get some irrigation line put in, and so they are doing a little better than they were. There's some more blueberries on this one. The total of 8 bushes here. Some of them, like this one here, were hit pretty hard by the drought and the heat before I put in the irrigation. So hopefully I caught it in time. So here's the continuation of this line of gooseberries. And then up here at the end, right before this evergreen and mixed tree windbreak, I have a line of what are considered dessert quality red gooseberries. And they're a little more vigorous, but are not really setting much fruit yet, so I'm hoping if I get some irrigation in here, they will become more so. More fruitful. Not too fruitful yet. There's one. But they're still a little young, perhaps. Up here seems to be a bigger patch. And here they get a little more shade. And I'm thinking they don't get quite so hot. And so, we've got one branch with quite a lot of fruit on it. So I guess they're not too young to fruit. Perhaps they're just not liking the heat and the dry that we're having. So I'll have to play with this a little bit. Over here's something interesting. Some wild wineberries are just starting to come to ripeness. It looks like the birds have gotten a few of them already. I'll have to race them for the rest of them. Early morning pickings, perhaps. And then this is the garden from the other direction, from where we came in. Tomatoes, ground cherries, horehound. Oh, and there's 3 sweet cherries at this end of the little orchard that I have going on here of pawpaws. I guess it's a pawpaw cherry orchard. And down there's the Swiss chard. And that's this section of garden. I hope you enjoy the little mini tour.